Hey everybody, welcome to TIW Podcast. I'm Eric, and today I watched WWE SmackDown episode 1052 and 205 Live episode 150, both broadcast on October 18th, 2019. I did not watch either of these live. I watched them both the next day on that Saturday. And before I get into talking about those, I want to mention real quickly a film that I didn't get a chance to see in the theaters, or I had plenty of chances to see it in the theaters, but I didn't see it in the theaters. Late Night, starring Mindy Kaling and Emma Thompson. It's really good. I liked it a lot. It's on Amazon Prime currently, and I didn't know it was an Amazon Studios production because it's on there as an Amazon original. Maybe they acquired it afterwards or something. But anyway, it's really good and I enjoyed it. And if you have Amazon Prime, check it out, especially if you're a fan of the Mindy Project or Emma Thompson or just comedy and late night television and like show business type films. It's good. It's pretty good. Check it out. So, this is going to be a fairly quick episode. Honestly, I wasn't paying the best attention to this episode because I was figuring out all the ins and outs of YouTube TV while I was watching. I did watch this on YouTube TV, and for some reason it didn't have... I watched it on demand because I signed up for it on Saturday. So I didn't have it DVR'd to be able to watch the broadcast version and skip forward through commercials, all that kind of thing. But I'm digging it so far. The reason for this, I talked about this in the NXT episode for this week. Did I talk about this in the NXT episode? I think I did. Maybe I didn't. But did I already post that? I think I had already posted that. Anyway, that AT&T TV now are like kind of phasing it out, but also increasing the prices a lot. And that begins, for me, that begins a month from now. And I was just a little bit too impatient about it and decided to sign up for YouTube TV because it looked like the best of all the options. The only downside is there's no option to add HBO to it, but there's an option to add it to Amazon Prime, and there's also an option to add that to Hulu. So I will be adding that when AT&T runs out at the end of this month for me. I thought that looking at all the different options, I thought that YouTube TV looked like the best one, especially because you can add other accounts to your family, and there's no extra cost. That's included as part of it. So that seemed like the best way, and unlimited DVR. And it had all the channels that I would want to watch, except for HBO. Unfortunately, there's no way to add HBO. You can't add HBO to it even. But doing that just as its own thing, it costs the same anyway. But AT&T TV now, which is a really bad name, as I've talked about it a few times. Every single time I mention it, it's a bad name. They sent me an email saying that the next billing cycle, it's going to go up to $60 a month, which is over double what it had been for me. I had been paying just $25 a month, which is a ridiculously good deal, and obviously it was too good of a deal to last because I had it bundled in with my cell phone and all that kind of thing. So I got a big discount on that, and it included HBO. So like anything I switch to is going to be more expensive. It's probably going to be on par with that. And so it is basically, but the interface and the unlimited DVR, that to me is a big, and the family sharing, all of that together, was kind of a no-brainer once I finished doing all the research. I didn't even look into Sling because I've used Sling before, and I didn't really like that much, and didn't really have. I don't know if it even has, or if it might have it now, but it sounded like it doesn't even have DVR capabilities and all that kind of thing. So yeah, that's a no there. And Hulu Live TV looks like it would probably been pretty good. But there's the limit of 50 hours, or if you upgrade, you get 200 hours of DVR. And I know that's like more than you really should ever need, especially if most stuff is on demand. But knowing me, I just fill it all up and then like have to go through like every week and choose what to delete to free up space, all that kind of thing. Even though it probably automatically it does it, because AT&T TV Direct Now, whatever it is, also has a 50-hour limit, but it automatically deletes the oldest stuff, and that's in the automatic thing. I don't really dig that either because I forget to check what I have recorded to watch of other stuff. And it's all on one account, so like if my sister is watching stuff on there, then that also appears on the stuff. And yeah, now it's better. All the separate accounts are on separate logins as part of the family sharing plan, and that's amazing, I think, so far. Okay, so let's talk about these shows. These are going to be quick. I'm going to go through this pretty quick. Like I said, I was not paying the most attention to the actual matches, like all the moves and all that kind of thing. But you open up with Roman Reigns versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the Intercontinental Championship. It is ended by end of disqualification when Baron Corbin comes out and attacks. Daniel Bryan comes out to try to help, but they lay him out as well because Sami Zayn is out there, so it's 3-on-2 situation. Backstage, we see Otis mixing up a huge bowl of protein powder that the New Day is not interested in consuming, so Otis consumes it all himself. And by consume, I mean he pours it all over himself. A little bit goes in his mouth. Shorty Gable comes out and defeats Curtis Axel, I think. It might have been Bo Dallas. Like I said, I wasn't paying the best attention. And then afterwards, he says, "You can now call me Shorty G." Because being short isn't a bad thing, and the internet is just fixated on this one event of the episode to say how bad everything is. So cool guys. Heavy Machinery and the New Day team up to face the Revival and the team of Rude and Gable. Rude and Ziggler. Sorry, Rudolph. And New Day wins. I forget who pins who, what, where, and the why, how, but that's a match that happened. There were some really fun matches, especially when Otis and Big E were doing stuff at the same time. That was really fun. Daniel Bryan interviewed backstage. He's excited to fight because in the main event it's going to be Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Baron Corbin. Bayley comes out on as a guest on Miz TV. Sasha's there with her, and she says she doesn't owe any explanations. And Miz says, no, explain yourself though. And he tries to stir the pot, saying that she's probably feels like she's second fiddle to Sasha, no matter what. But then Bayley responds with, "Life sucks, and then you die." And then there we go. Nikki Cross comes out, basically tells Bayley to shut up, and then we have our six-pack challenge to determine who will be Bayley's next opponent. So it's Nikki Cross versus Dana Brooke versus Lacey Evans versus Carmella versus Sonya Deville versus Mandy Rose, and Nikki Cross won that match. There's a lot of fun moments through this match, and the kind of the usual kick to one person, then that person get kicked, then that person gets hit, that person gets kicked, and when those sequences happened, those were pretty fun. And of course, Nikki running wild on all the others to get the win there. She won via purge to Mandy Rose there at the end. Then we have Drew Gulak versus Braun Strowman, which before the battle began, Drew pleaded with Braun. He didn't plead with he what's the word I'm trying to think of? It's he tried to level with Braun, saying, hey, I have some advice for you. I've really thought this out. You don't want to just go in there your usual headstrong self. Go at it another way. And I have a PowerPoint presentation to show you about it. And we only got to see the first slide, unfortunately, because Braun got very frustrated and just walloped Drew Gulak. And so Braun Strowman wins that match. And then our main event, Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan versus Corbin and Shinsuke Nakamura. Roman Reigns, as he's coming out, he's introduced as the new captain of Team Hogan. So that's how that news is broken, to replace Seth Rollins so that Seth isn't having two matches on that night. And this match ended with Daniel Bryan pinning Shinsuke Nakamura. And I guess I can't remember any specifics about this match. There was some. It was good. I enjoyed it. I was just too focused on other stuff while it was on. But I do like these two as a team. I think they work together really well. Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan, that is. And all four of them are like really. Baron Corbin is really good in multi-person matches, or in matches against Shorty G. So I thought all four of them were really good in this match. And Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan, they don't have a team name. So Daniel Bryan and Kane were Team Hell No, of course. So I'm kind of thinking to go something along those lines. An aspect from each of them, and I call them some. My thought was that they'd be Team Yes Dog, as in like, or Yeah Dog would maybe be even better, like Yeah Dog, or something like that, or the Big Yes, the Yes Empire, the Yes Pyre. That sounds weird. Excuse me. So yeah, maybe they'll come up with a name at some point, and then they'll go after the championships. They'll face the Revival, and I don't know. They could do whatever they want. We'll see. 205. So that was the main event. It ended on a fairly happy note, I suppose. Then 205 Live, episode 150. Drake opened up the show. I was worried that he was maybe out as the general manager of 205 Live, but here he is back for the first time in weeks, giving us the recap at the top of the show. He congratulates all the draftees because we got Drew Gulak over to SmackDown. I think it was Lucha House Party and Humberto Carrillo. I think they were both over to Raw, and then somebody else got poached as well, but I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was just them. I feel like there's one more person. I'm not sure, but anyway, he announces that he tells us that there's going to be new faces here on 205 Live from NXT to look forward to. And later on, we find out that one of them is Angel Garza, who, who suffered a loss to Tommaso Ciampa, the returning Tommaso Ciampa, this week. But I don't think he doesn't have as huge of beards to worry about murdering his pants over on 205 Live. So we'll see how it goes. But it does sound like there's going to be a lot of cross appearances between 205 and NXT. That these people aren't just only going to be on 205. So we'll see. And with the loss of Lucha House Party, that brings us to I'm skipping to the middle match. The Singh brothers, very briefly last week, they were the Bollywood boys, but they're back to being the Singh brothers. So good for them. They fought a couple of local fellas, and this whole time, Tom Phillips was talking about how they are the best tag team we have on 205 Live, and we need to embrace that and celebrate that. And Aiden English is like, they're also the worst. There's only one tag team. They're also the being the number one. That doesn't mean anything. So I really enjoyed that banter between them. They did win that match, so good job, Singh brothers. The opening match was Jack Gallagher versus Kendrick, the Brian Kendrick. And Kendrick won that match. So, but Kendrick's bad now, so I shouldn't be happy about that. No, boo that. And then our main event, absolutely worth checking out because Ari Daivari, I think, it has his best matches in multi-man matches, and this is a multi-man match. Ari Daivari versus Oni Lorcan versus Tony Nese, and this match was not officially to determine who would be Lio Rush being the new Cruiserweight champion as of 2 weeks ago. It wasn't officially to determine which of them who would be Leo's next opponent, but Lio Rush will be back in action next week on 205 Live, so that's exciting. But I think there's massive consideration to be had for the winner of this main event, and that winner was Tony Nese. It pains me to say, if he teamed with Oni, they could just be called Tony, but with the E and a capital O. Capital T, capital O, and EY. That would be their team name. They could be a triple with Danny. Tony could be the third of the 1-2. They could be the 1-2-3, except Tony Nese needs to be number 8. It'd be 1, 2, and 8. So it'd be, yeah. Anyway, go check out that main event. I didn't write down specifics from it, and I'm recording this the next day from having watched it. But man, these guys, every single match they put on such a great performance. Whether or not it's the main event of 205 Live, the entire hour is the main event of the week. And now it is the final thing of the whole week, unless there's a takeover or pay-per-view. Even more so now than ever before. What's the word on Mike Kanellis? I don't know. He was not mentioned on this episode. I thought his part in last week was pretty interesting, but then the next day he posted that he asked for his release and all that kind of stuff. I don't know what's going on there. And the Brian Kendrick's friend, Akira Tozawa, he was drafted to Raw as well. The Brian Kendrick being there with, I think he turned on Akira anyway though. But Jack lost. That's right. Jack lost his friend in Akira Tozawa. That's what I was thinking. He lost his friends to Raw, but the Brian Kendrick's new friend, Mike Kanellis, he might be out of the picture as well. I don't know. I guess we'll see what all happens with all of that. So that does it for this week's SmackDown and 205 Live. I still have yet to watch. I do want to watch NWA Power and this week's AEW. I did watch Kenny Omega versus Joey Janela from this week's AEW Dark, and that was really good. I did not. I watched it on mute because I was like at the Baby Metal concert like before, and just was watching it on my phone. Didn't have my headphones or anything with me. Just watching it on mute on my phone. And it was really good. So check that out. But I will have a separate episode like I did last week for this week's AEW Dynamite and NWA Power, those together. But before that, I'll be watching, as soon as I finish, as I'm posting this, I'll be watching this week's The Walking Dead. So stay tuned for my episode about that. That'll come before the other two that I just mentioned. So let me know what you thought about SmackDown and 205 Live and the movie Late Night. by tweeting me at TIW Podcast. Go to TIWpodcast.com for more reviews. If you enjoyed this episode or anything else on the site, please share some links with your friends. Subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, wherever you like to listen. And stay safe out there in all the infinite multiverses. So I can see you next time here on TIW Podcast. Bye!